Hey everybody, I'm Tommy Scoville and you were on the lifeboat. So this is going to be an interesting one. But before we get going, tonight I am going live at 4 o'clock. I am not going live at 5 o'clock. Everybody hear that? I'm going live at 4 o'clock. I'm not going live at 5 o'clock. It's going to be 4 o'clock today. Everybody hear that? 4 o'clock, not 5 o'clock. So listen to this. I am here today because this is an opportunity for the lifeboat to talk about something that I have already talked about. I went on a rant one day, and I brought up the fact that the president's son cut a deal for a crime that falls under the 924 statute. And the 924 statute is what I went to prison on. And I'll be really honest with you. This made me kind of salty. I don't want anybody dodging the time that I had to do because their father is in office, and he wouldn't have gotten as long. But I've never heard of anybody being charged with a 924C or 924 crime period and then get probation. It's just not something that happens. So I wanted to come back on here and I wanted to tell you what happened. And there's a couple of other reasons too. We talk about some criminal stuff occasionally and some court stuff on this channel, but this one is a little bit more important because we also talk a great deal about social media. And I was looking up today on how many news agencies out there were reporting on the some of the information that has surfaced concerning Hunter Biden since this entire investigation started, and concerning him taking very, very large sums of money, and there being emails back and forth to talk about setting up meetings with his father, basically bribery. And it didn't get reported on regular media at all. This is a social media situation where everything that happened in this has happened because of social media. Can I get a 5x5? So it looks like I'm just want to make sure that I'm coming through all right. Yeah, it looks like you are the only ones here. I don't know if everybody, sometimes the notifications don't go out, not too concerned about it. But thank you, V. There you go. But here's the other thing. This entire thing happened. The judge decided to throw out this agreement. And I'm here to tell you that that happened because of social media. That happened because of really small channels that got upset about this. And it brought out, there's literally, almost no media coverage whatsoever of the reasons that the judge decided that this was a wrap and he wasn't taking this deal. I wanted to come on and I wanted to get sort of a video record of this on the air, because in 10 or 15 years, we're going to look back and times are going to be very different in the world. But this day is going to end up being relevant in our country in a very big way, because this is what happened today borders on, it's historic as hell. You have to understand, people, that from a legal standpoint, they had a real vested interest of just sweeping this thing quickly under the carpet. I don't mean, obviously, the guy doesn't want his kid in deep trouble and all of that. But what it did effectively was kill an investigation that needs to happen. What's going on at the southern border and everything else. There's just a lot going on, and it kind of hinged on this. And this is a pretty incredible turn of events, and I have no idea how it is going to pan out. But I'll be really honest with you. I think that we're in for a fecal matter show here in the very near future, because there are some real questions that are being brought up, and the social media has gotten a hold of this. And it is amazing, the power in this thing right here. It is amazing. This is why I always say we have the ability to change the world from this little boat. If you reach out to every single person that you know who seems to be having a difficult time with drugs or alcohol, and we start inviting people, the rate of growth right now on the lifeboat is as exciting as anything that I have ever been a part of. I want to welcome all of the new people to the lifeboat. There's a bunch of new people that have joined. We've been able to do some pretty cool things with some of these individuals already. It's pretty exciting stuff. Big shout out to Aaron, to Aaron, and somebody sent me an email. One of you sent me an email about our views when we go on over there, because the lifeboat is well represented. We do pretty well on Aaron's channel. People seem to really like the synergy of the two of us, and I think we're going to find ourselves maybe discussing some things that have nothing to do with prison. And you can feel free to write to Ron and tell them you want to hear this, but I'm fascinated by these people sign a 1 billion contract, and they do so very often at a very, very young age. So showing up, and signing off your eternity, not just your life, right? Your next life and your life after that for 1 billion years. It may sound silly as hell to people that don't understand the power of cults. But these people sign away a contract for 1 billion years, and then very often turn 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, drug years, the years that people tend to really experiment with drugs. These people are living in a dormitory kind of a situation without relatives around. And I really want to kind of do an interview with Ron and ask him about, I mean, there are rebels and there are drug users in every single society. And I find it difficult to believe that Scientology somehow was able to dodge that. 18 USC and 922G usually results 4.5 years in prison mandatory, says Mr. Ray. Well, we're going to see some things happen. And what's going to be very unusual is we're going to see some investigations opened as well. Concerning a lot of monies. There is a tremendous amount of unaccounted for money that got sent to that family, and it really looked like it was just plain going to go away. And if you're somebody that researches this stuff or reads about it, it's a bit frustrating. But it looks like that is no longer going to be the case. People, I'm in the process of putting together a teaser video. It's going to be short and 3 minutes or 4 minutes long at the very beginning of the lifeboat, so that when somebody shows up, they have the ability to see a video that explains to them a little bit about the channel and a little bit about what we do, because we have a problem in that when you first show up onto the page, YouTube highlights videos. They don't highlight live feeds. And for that reason, we end up with a lot of people that show up there, and the only thing they see on the lifeboat is a 1-year-old. Hello, Kathy. A 1-year-old video that we did about something, because we just don't produce a lot of videos where we take the time to edit it and then upload it and then put it on that way. It's just simply not the format that we've chosen here on the lifeboat. The format that we've chosen is live. You know what, V? Hang in there, hun. Here's the deal, Miss V. And let me say this just once, because I think it is important. The internet is an ugly place for so many reasons. However, it's also a beautiful place. And I have met people on the internet that have been the greatest and the sweetest people that I've ever met. I have met on the internet. And these are the most honest and the most transparent people that you will ever want to meet. Within a very short period of getting to know these individuals, you will know who they are, the real them. And that's a rare thing. We live in a society that it's very easy for people to hide behind keyboards and be anything that they want. And amazingly, people come to the boat and they throw off all that BS, and they allow people to see who they really are and what they really are. And V, you are who you really are, and you are a beautiful and a fantastic person. And that, to me, is is probably the most important thing going. The rest of it is going to work itself out. But I'm glad that you're here. I'm glad that you have always been here. I'm glad that you have held up the boat on your back, in times that there were so few people that ever came to a live feed that it felt almost pointless to do it. But those original troopers that got us here. I agree with you, V. I agree with you 100%. What this individual was doing should be illegal, and it may be at some level. I think it may be at some level. Shoot me an email. We'll go back and forth. I'm pretty sure at some level it is. So yeah, but we can talk about that. So I'm going to film this video and I'm going to put it up in the beginning And I'll obviously, you guys know what the lifeboat is about, but feel free to stop on when that video first comes out. And if you see something you think I should have said, that would be great. I'll probably explain the rules really, really quickly. 30-second version of the rules. But more importantly, I'm going to tell people what the vote is all about. Anunnaki child. I don't care what side first, but I want to see one of these politicians actually held accountable. Well, that's really an interesting comment, isn't it? Because I think that that's where the world is, Anunnaki child. And I think that that is why what just happened. To see this plea deal thrown out is a really big deal. I'm not sure if that is going to sink in with everybody, but this is not done very often. It happens. Don't get me wrong. It's not like a unicorn, but it is normally when the parties agree on something and the judge is cool with it, it's going through. And social media had got a hold of this story. And then, shortly after social media gets a hold of the story, a couple of videos pop up that look like maybe he's doing a little blow, right? It looks kind of obvious to anybody that's ever had a problem with cocaine or any drug that sort of takes you in that direction, especially one that you induce into your body through your nasal cavities. But he was going through it. He was doing a lot of the affectations that we're all used to seeing with somebody who is high on coke. That video releases, and then about 3 or 4 days later, and by the way, that video is everywhere, and there are memes and jokes about it and all kinds of things. And then a few days later, what happens? Well, a few days later, some blow gets discovered at the White House. And the story that the media gets is they can't tell you whose coke it is. It's impossible to know whose cocaine it is at the White House, just that it is in a public place. I got news for you. So I was in prison, and in a prison that was the size of a couple of football fields, there were literally less than 3 dead zones, places where you were not on camera, right? There was a place where you could just get in the right spot and you were not on camera. And that is a very, very large facility with a budget that, if you want to compare to the White House, is probably slightly different. And I would imagine the cameras that they're using at the White House are probably of a slightly better brand than the ones that we had at prison. But they know whose blow that is. I mean, you got to be stupid to think that they don't. Honestly, they know whose that is. DNA is incredible, and if you're going to think for a hot second that somebody didn't sweat a little DNA onto that bag, if you knew how easy it is to transfer DNA from one thing to another, I would be willing to place a bet that they know exactly whose that is. However, even if they don't, it certainly points a finger at his son, and that I think is another thing that social media got a hold of and started to run with, and social media kept that deal from going through. That judge bailed out on that deal out of fear. I believe wholeheartedly that judge said, "Oh man, like this looks bad. This kid's in the news. And he's also standing on the balcony at the White House, looking like he just did a half an 8-ball, like he just snorted a teener before he walked out there." It's a very unusual clip of film. If you get a chance to see it, I would recommend seeing it. I would recommend watching it slow motion. And if you do get that clip of film, I can't do that, people. I don't have that skill. I wish I did, because I would show it to you right now. But you also have a very bizarre clip of film. And I'm going to get this. I'm going to find somebody that's smart enough to do this, and I'm going to do it this week. I promise you, because you need to see this. But there's a part of the film where Dr. Jill Biden looks like she's swallowing the drip. And I didn't come up with this, by the way. I saw this on another show. Maybe what I will do is, to give credit to the people that found this, maybe I will just pull up that individual show. Kathy says, "Oh my God, I thought that too." Full of Hope, that is up in the air, but we are going live at 4:00. I really hope he is with us. Mark has a very unusual schedule, so we have not quite heard from him yet today. That does not mean that he's not going to be here. It simply means that I haven't heard from him yet, so I can't, and I'm not going to announce that and make him look bad. I have not spoken to him. He was on vacation last week. I don't know if he's back yet, but we're going to find out. And if not, I promise to do a show that's at least halfway decent. Honestly, I promise to do a good show. But we're going to do that at 4 o'clock today. This, people, is a fascinating day, and it's one that we're going to look back on years from now. I promise you. This is the start of something ugly, because politicians, as we all know, go like this every morning, right? And they put their finger in the air, and they have very successfully kept anything about this plea deal and about all of the things accompanying it out of the Main Street press. They're not going to be able to do that after today. There is no chance in hell they're going to be able to do that, because even the people that don't want to report on this stuff now have to. It's going to be that much out and in the open, and this is going to be very unusual times in our country. No matter what side of the aisle you're on, whether you're a Republican or a Democrat, this is going to be unusual periods of time. And whether you're a Republican or a Democrat, I got to agree that just once it might be nice to see somebody treated the same as an average citizen. And I will be very happy to say to you that my heart bleeds for Hunter Biden, and I wish that he would find the lifeboat. I think that the guy needs connection that is outside of that insane life that he grew up in. You know, his dad's been a politician since before he was born. And I think that that's got to be very, very difficult. 4 o'clock today, he said he was home his last life. But UFO, no, not UFO. We have not talked about UFOs yet. Full of hope. We were talking about Hunter Biden, the president's son, had a plea deal. He lied on a Brady background check, okay, in the United States. And what that means, people, is that he tried to purchase a firearm that he knew he was prohibited from purchasing. It is one rung on the ladder below felon in possession of a firearm, right? It is called prohibited person in possession of a firearm. And the next question becomes, how is it that he was able to get the weapon? Okay, well, then they trace back, and he went into a store and he lied on his paperwork, which usually gets caught. It's really kind of shocking. But the laptop, you know, it's funny, full of hope. We're not exactly sure what will happen with the laptop, but because this deal didn't get closed, because this deal is now wide open, they're actually going to investigate this. And the FBI and all parties involved now have the spotlight of the social media audience, and the social media audience got this kid's deal pulled back. Kid, he's the same age as I am, but he is the kid of the president. Hunter and I are the same age. We graduated high school the same year. So Miss V, he's about your age too, I would guess. Yeah, well, felon in possession of a firearm. Well, he is in possession. He was a DuBont resident. He was in possession of a lot of stuff, apparently. And I'm not making light of the guy's addiction. I feel bad for him. He has been messed up with cocaine for a really, really long time. Hunter has had a coke problem. You know, a long time ago, Hunter tried to go into the military, and he literally didn't make it to the first day. He enrolled to go into the Navy in an officer's program of some kind, if I'm not mistaken, and he failed the first test for cocaine. He also returned a rent-a-car once with his driver's license, his telephone, and a fat bag of cocaine left in the car. Hold on 1 second, peeps, because this is actually lifeboat related. That is Mr. Mark Wages. So tonight will be Wednesday with Wages. We're going to be going live at 4 o'clock, as long as he tells me 4 o'clock is good, and it needs to be, because I have a meeting tonight at 4:45. These meetings, people, are all geared toward one goal in mind, and that goal is to have the ability to go in and talk to some parents of high school age kids. We're doing everything we can to try and reach that demographic and just warn them exactly what's going on. You know what I mean? Instead of going out there and scaring kids the way that people always do, because I just don't think it's terribly effective. I do think you ought to talk to them, but the people that really need to know what's going on are their parents. And that is currently what I have been working on. NICS background check verifies the buyer does not have a criminal record or isn't otherwise ineligible to purchase or own a firearm. Hunter Biden lied on Form 4473. Ray, you frighten me how much you know about this. Makes you wonder whether or not that's something that Mr. Ray knows a little bit too intimately. No, I'm just kidding you, Ray. But thank you for the information. Yeah, that's really what he did. Is he lied on a background check, and that's a big deal in this country. I did time with people who lied on background checks. Right? Trying to get a firearm when you're a prohibited person is not a misdemeanor. It is not a you get probation. In fact, I never knew of anyone in my entire life that got federal probation. I didn't even know that they did it. You know what I mean? I didn't know that there were misdemeanor federal offenses because every single federal offense is a felony. And in theory, every single felony carries prison time. So I was a little angry the first day that they announced this deal, and I came on and I talked about it, but it wasn't political, it was deeply personal. Hold on one second. We're back with Mark Wages. We're just making sure that everybody's he's with us, people. So 4:00 today, Mr. Mark Wages will be here for Wednesday with Wages. If you've been on the boat for any length of time, you know he is sort of co-founder of the lifeboat. He is definitely somebody that from very, very early on in the boat came and did so much work to make this place what it is. He really did. And he continues to do a lot for the boat behind the scenes. And it's always a really good time when Mark and I are able to go on at the same time. We really, we enjoy, we just fall right back into a rhythm that we did together, I think 500 or 600 of them, maybe more than that. I don't know. We did a lot of them together. So it's fun when Mark can get here. It would be wildly ironic for having photos of what Hunter did with his niece. I'll tell you something, Ian DeBow. There are some very, very disturbing pictures on that laptop, and that is something else now that we're going to see because now that this is back into the court system, you understand why this is such a huge day. Because now it's like, Full of Hope asked, are we going to see the laptop? I have to believe that the prosecution will really look like they don't care about anything if they do not bring that laptop in. And the pressure, I can't really spend enough energy trying to explain just how much pressure social media now brings to bear. They've created a monster with social media. It's an opportunity for people to spread the word that doesn't get spread in other places. And it is having an effect on the country. And I think it's having an effect on the world. Full of Hope says, it was 2014 when I first heard of the Biden's nasty stuff. Yeah, that's incredible. I was not in the know at that point at all. I was just reading stuff about recovery. I was not much into the politics because it required, sitting in a day room watching TV. I miss Mark. Glad he's feeling better enough to come back, says V. And he is. Yeah, he's doing fantastic. Mark is in a really good place. He's going to be a lot of fun to have on tonight. We're going to talk about all kinds of subject matter because there's just been so much in the news that it's going to be fun to hear some of Mark's opinions on. And I mean, all drug related. There's really been a lot that has been going on. I do want to do a bit of a public service announcement as well. If you're somebody that takes a medication, a medically assisted treatment medication, if you take medications for anything, there has been a shortage of drugs. It's been reported in a lot of places. It has affected Suboxone in a very big way. There are certain pharmacies where they're just not getting it. And it's, of course, this is a drug that people need daily. And it's causing a lot of issues for people on MAT. And there are other things that people are not being able to get prescriptions filled for, which is frightening, right? But at this exact moment, it's getting worse. Here in the United States yesterday, Pfizer the pharmaceutical company. Pfizer had one of its distribution hubs. There was a accident and a fire, and that is going to put yet another kink in this whole things. Well, let's see here. Hamatupagan. Sometimes our kids do nasty stuff and it has no bearing on the careers of the parents. You're right. I think more often than not, when kids do nasty stuff, it does not have bearing on the parents. I mean, there's a reputation thing involved in it. There really is. I think what really kind of brought this to the forefront was the fact that he was just very, very involved, with his parent, and it's definitely going to bring a crap storm to his dad. I think that there's going to be no getting around that because his dad is all over that laptop. And the statement that his dad made about 6 different times of how he never discussed his son's business with his son, that never happened, is going to be he's going to have a real hard time walking that one back, because we've received a ton of stuff here in the States about text messages and photos of his dad playing golf with the owners of Burisma, and it starts to get a little far-fetched. I think this is going to be a real crap storm, and it's at a time when probably the last thing we need in this country or in this world is a crap show. But I have a feeling that this is going to get really, really ugly. The money from foreign entities is pure corruption. It certainly looks that way. And there seems to be more and more evidence piling up to back that up, Ian. The more people, the more that they release. And I'll tell you something. The part of this that I find the most fascinating isn't the laptop. It isn't the fact that the laptop didn't come out. It's that they're bleeding just enough info out of that laptop that I think that I find it really interesting that the guy's not campaigning in any way, shape, or form. He has announced that he's running for president, but he's not campaigning in any way, shape, or form. People who haven't announced are campaigning more than he is. Gavin Newsom is campaigning more than the president is, and it makes you wonder why. Maybe he knows he's not going to be there. Maybe, I don't know, but he doesn't seem to be doing anything to campaign. And I think the world would like to see him gone. I think America might like to see him gone. I don't think they want to see him gone with a whole lot of time left on his sentence, so to speak, because the approval rating for the vice president is the lowest in history. They say it's a negative 17 points. At least the last time they put it on the news, it was at a negative 17, which is not a really good popularity poll. I do better than that, for God's sake. If kids misbehave at the behest of the parent or the benefit of the parent, yeah, that's a really good point. And I think that that's what's happening. The parent is also culpable. The big guy must be impeached, says Kelly Gerling. And you know what? There's just this big guy thing is going to come back to be an issue. And this, what happened today, is going to bring that to the forefront. And I'll be really honest. I'm not going to be upset if this family gets run out of Washington. It looks on paper pretty bad that these guys took somewhere in the ballpark of $10 to $30 million. And that's incredible. And if you look at where this guy lives, he's got 3 beach houses. If you look at the lifestyle, his watch collection's pretty insane. And, he just doesn't make the money that you would have to make to own what he owns. And there is a paper trail right now of at least $10 million coming into his family and being broken up among every single family member that you could possibly imagine. 9 family members so far that money directly from China got sent off to. That's a fact. That's not speculation. When these things happen, a form is filled out, and it's a suspicious activity form. And I'm sure that there's at least 1 or 2 of them on me. And the reason I say that is I've had some watch deals that, you're trying to wire money and you're trying to do it at the very last minute, and they're always cash transactions. And I'm corrected. Ian DeBow says it's up to 17 million now. Well, I think it's going to end up being considerably more than that. from travel patterns and from people that they seem to be in contact with, I think this number could end up becoming ridiculous. But we're going to find that we're going to find that out in the near future, I would think. You know what? This one's for you, Tommy Bird. But yeah, we're living in fascinating days, people. We're living in fascinating days. To me, Biden's shady dealings are a lot worse than Trump groping some asses. Well, there is an opinion. Thank you, Ahan. Appreciate the opinion. Grandma Pisces, good to see you. Welcome to the Lifeboat. If I've never welcomed you, and I probably have, but I always want to make sure that I do. Like Scott Nay, for instance. I've welcomed Scott 250 times. I'm going to do it again. Scott, welcome to the boat. How you doing, bud? Glad that you're here. So I really wanted to come on here and just put down on the record, because 25 years from now, they're going to talk about this. And I'm going to say, yeah, I went live that day. And I did I agree with you, full of hope. Going to be talking about that on Sunday. One for our country, says Ian DeBow. You know what? I have absolutely... I am all about one for the country. It could use it right now. So I am going live with my partner, Captain Mark Wages. We will be here at 4:00 Pacific time. Pass it around. All right, 4:00 Pacific time. The squirrel had the morning off. She worked very hard yesterday, several videos. So she has the morning off. Yes, Kelly Gerling. I did an absolute rant on that testimony over on the other platform, on Rumble, or as we like to call it, Lifeboat Raw. Okay, Miss Dragon. Good time to be getting videos in the can. There's a lot going on. Plenty to talk about. Daniel Theobald. Hope you're doing well. So people, I will be live tonight at 4:00. All right. I'm Captain Tommy Scoville. You know what? Just keep doing what you're doing, people. And you know what? Stay engaged. This is a time where we need connection more than we've ever needed it. And I mean as a planet. I don't mean as a drug addict. I mean as a planet. Sinead O'Connor died? Did that really happen? How? Hold on. Sinead O'Connor was not old enough to die. Sinead O'Connor?
According to Wikipedia, Shuhada Sadaka, known by her birth name, was an Irish singer and musician.
My goodness, Sinead O'Connor is dead. Damn. In Dublin. She died. I am really sorry to hear that, man. I'm sorry. Hold on a sec. Wow. I have no idea. We're gonna we will revisit that once we find out exactly what happened to her. But she was born in 1966. She is far, far too young to have died. That is absolutely heartbreaking. That really is. She was just so much happened with her in my youth. She was just a really big part of my youth, and so yeah, my goodness. Yeah, you're exactly your age, by the way, full of hope. Exactly your age. Same age as my brother Tommy, too. I think everybody here probably grew up. She was just such a big part of the 80s. Boy, oh boy. All right, peeps. Damn, that just absolutely took the wind out of my sails. Have a great day, everybody. We'll see you in about 4 hours or so right here on the Lifeboat with Mark Wages for Wednesday with Wages. All right. God bless you, people, and stay engaged.